Welcome to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Angelika Maria Koch with your educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. So today in our Discover series, Heathy Family Soul Medicine, let's have a look how you can help your children with recurring night terrors or nightmares. I know it's a sensitive subject, and rather than shrugging your shoulders in disbelief and not knowing how to help your children, let me share some natural guidelines here, so enjoy this. To stay updated with my ongoing videos, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and family, and have a look at my website medicanova.net at the online academy, where you will find fantastic home study online courses in first aid, homeopathy and quantum healing. And if you're interested in a personal health consultation, either for yourself or your children, you can contact me at health@medicanova.net. So how can you help your children with recurring nightmares or night terrors? Well, first of all, it can be very distressing for both the child and the parents when the nightmares and the night terrors become a regular occurrence. But there's a difference between night terror and nightmare, and children can have both at different times in their young lives. The average age is about between 3 to 12, 13 years old. It's where they really are more prevalent. We all experience nightmares in our lives, but sometimes children have a particular period of time when certain fearful nightmares seem to keep recurring more and more. They say the night terrors scare the parents, whereas the nightmares scare the children. The reason is because a child who experiences a night terror acts if he or she is awake, but they're actually fast asleep. They can run around, scream their heads off. They have scary, wide open looking eyes. They can look at the parents but don't recognize you at all, or the caregiver. They can be violent. They, as I said, they scream, they thrash, they hit around, all of that. To wake them up is not such a good idea because it maybe adds stress to the already crazy situation. I would suggest just, guide the child back safely to the bed. They usually have no recollection or memory what happened the night before. Whereas, on the other hand, with the nightmares or the scary dream, the child actually can remember what happened. They can tell you about it the next day. The nightmares occur during the RAD, rapid eye movement stage of the sleep. So your child is more likely to wake up when a nightmare is in progress. So if a child comes running to your bed or, runs to the parents' room, he or she is really, really frightened at that time and needs love or hugs. So I know it's late during the night, it happens maybe, the whole week already, you're tired, but try to understand your child. It's terrified in that moment and it really needs your attention. What causes the nightmares? Well, scientifically, we really don't know yet, but we do know that the dreams and the nightmares seem to be sort of an expression of the child, working out facts or situations or emotions which happen during the day. Usually they are packed with worries and concerns. Some might happen when a child has stress or deals with some change, for example, changing schools or maybe moving residence, getting to know new friends, the birth of a sibling, and of course family tensions. If the parents are about to hit a divorce or there's a lot of tension going on within the family dynamic, very likely the children start to have nightmares. Sometimes the nightmares are part of a child's reaction to a trauma. It can be an accident, it can be an injury, any of that, a natural disaster even. Any of that can be part of the sleepless nights. Children often have a vivid imaginations. right? And I would say the ones which are prone to it should not be exposed to media of like television shows before they go to bed, or reading a scary book before falling asleep. It's just not happening. It's just not working for them, particularly if it happened already before. Sometimes a child has recognizable bits and pieces of the day's event and experience, but with a scary twist to it. So try really to engage the child to express and share with you the nightmares or the content of it, whatever it can remember, because it might give you as the parents an idea what's actually bothering the child. So once you have established, the kind of disturbance, either night terror or nightmare, here are some guidelines. I would say start having a regular bedtime and wake up time for your child. Also, sleep routine here is very important. By the end of the day, slow everything down, create a safe and comforting environment for the child. Maybe have a bath, snuggle with the child, read a really lovely story, not scary, and also end the day with some pleasant memories. Really guide the child away from some kind of disturbing events during the day. Just leave it out of their consciousness so they actually fall asleep with a good feeling. Have a bed that's cozy, peaceful, maybe get a cuddly toy in there, or have some beautiful music playing. And here in New Mexico, where I live, we have the Dreamcatchers. You maybe want to get one of those. It's a Native American tradition, and they're quite beautiful actually. You hang them over the bed or at the door handle. And the idea is that the bad dreams, travel through the net and the good dreams stay. Definitely avoid any kind of media from TV shows, scary movie, reading crazy bedtime stories, all of that. Please stay away from that. And also tell them that the nightmares are really not real. They are expressions of their worries and concerns, but they really don't have a hold of them. You can also do a guided meditation maybe, where let's say you have a backpack and you put all the bad stuff in there, and then let them choose a safe place where they can deposit in their imagination and leave that backpack there, safe away from their sleep. So just play with them, create stories so they feel more empowered here. If you have essential oils, you maybe put some lavender, melissa officinalis, or even some hops, a few drops on the child's pillow. It really calms down the energy field, and lavender is beautiful here. Also, if your child has a sort of a tendency to blood sugar imbalances, make sure that your child has a little snack before it goes to sleep. If they're night terrors, I definitely would introduce the BACHFLOWER remedy MIMULUS. It's for anxieties can be trifles, can be anything, but the child gets afraid of it. Also a rescue remedy. It's a combination of 5 different BACHFLOWER remedies. Put a few drops onto the pillow and also on the forehead of the child. It really calms down the energetic field or nervous system. Sometimes a nightmare can occur if the child feels it needs to go to the bathroom and it pees in the bed or wakes up from it and then has a nightmare. Also, if there are dietary imbalances, particular casein from dairy or gluten intolerances, a lack of niacin can actually create nightmares in children. So here I would say stay away from any artificial, colorings and sugar. Honey and fruits is fine, but stay away from all this stuff which is just aggravating the overall system. What are the natural treatments here, and how can you help your child to get over the nightmare and the night terror? And here, in my experience, as a long-time practitioner, I would say homeopathy is the only therapeutic tool which really has an effect here and can really break through these patterns. And the child will find inner strength to recover from his post-traumatic stresses, as well as it's almost like washes away the unpleasant impressions of the past, and therefore it is able to put an end to the nightmares. I've seen it over and over. The keynote here is that you will have to find a remedy which matches almost identical the individual expression of the nightmares, right? A nightmare is just a general name, but how is your child expressing it? And also, what's the underlying core essence? That's the beauty of homeopathy. If you match that frequency with the right remedy, magic happens. We have many remedies here, 4,000 nearly, explored by now. So I will only give you 4. The most indicated ones, you have them accessible in your local health food store. There's nothing too complicated, and I will show you now the keynotes so you can recognize them and give it to your child, and let me know how you get on. This is very dear to my heart. You can always contact me at health@medicanova.net, or please contact your local healthcare practitioner. So the first remedy we talk about today is Calcarea carbonica, or calcarb. And you can see the tendencies for nightmares already in babies. So babies wake up and then they want to be rocked quite hard, actually, sort of bobbing up and down, and they have them over the shoulder, and that's what they like. It is by far the most common indicated remedy for children who suffer from night terrors and nightmares. So here the child may fear to close their eyes even and go to sleep because they maybe see monsters, ghosts, or all sorts of creatures which attack them, right? They really are afraid. Something is happening in their sleep where they feel really scared about the shapes and all that stuff which is about to get them. Others experience these dreams in the middle of the night, and they wake up and they cause them to scream. They're awake terrified, and it's very hard to calm them down. They often have nightmares after frightening stories having been read to them, or even watching a scary show on television. Very common here. A good example, I put a picture up here, would be like the flying monkeys of the Wizard of Oz scene, right? It just leaves this lasting impressions on their mind, and they just can't get over it. These children also can be very overheated in their bed. So they perspire profusely, particularly small children, around the head area. It even can smell sour. Happens usually the first few minutes or even within the hour of when they fall asleep. They can stick out their feet under the cover or just throw away their covers completely because they feel really hot. They can even grind their teeth during the sleep. They can also sleepwalk, right? Often they wake up quite refreshed and cannot remember what happened during the last night anyway, right? But they were screaming their head off, right? So I would say calcarb is a wonderful remedy here. Also want to point out that these children feel sometimes a little bit chubby. With the babies, they often have cold and clammy hands and feet, right? And they have a slow development, right? They have a slow dentition, teeth coming very slow, and it's painful. So if you see this personality, think about calcarb. And here I would say calcarb 30, which is the number, it's the potency strength behind the name. You usually get only 6 or 30 in a health food store, but here I would say Calcup 30. 1 tablet weekly only, say every Monday or Wednesday, for 3 to 4 weeks. See how that goes. Now, as soon as improvement sets in with homeopathy, don't give any further, right? It's just leave the body alone, let the body, give the benefit of the body to just work its way through, and let the healing process start. And as I said, if you need some help, contact me or your healthcare practitioner. The next remedy is called phosphorus. Very different kind of energy, but very indicated here as well. Now here, the children do not like to go to bed alone. Yeah, very clear. Even infants and toddlers, they may fuss around until the parent lies down with them. They're terrified of the dark. They even have fear of the room, the bed, or the closet, which may be filled with monsters or ghosts, or every changing light and shadow pattern even gives them a start. And this again illustrates they have a very sensitive nervous system, very vivid imagination too. So these children often will say they need the night light on. It's a very common remedy for children who, they can be even 8, 9, 10 years old, who sneak during the night into the parents' room because they are afraid even of the nightmares. Such a child may have a difficult time falling asleep if they're emotionally troubled, or if they're even excited of an upcoming event the next day. Maybe they have a test or anticipate something, then they can even have a nightmare. It is not uncommon to have a 13-year-old sort of phosphorus girl wanting to be tucked in at night. So they tend to talk in their sleep. They have, they definitely have sleepwalks. We call it somnambulism. And you maybe find your child rumbling around in the midnight, during the midnight in the living room, or of course changing the beds and looking for the parents' bedroom. They have a restless sleep, and they may have many nightmares centers around, again, monsters, ghosts and animals. But these dreams may also include sort of episodes of chase scenes, right, or murders, or even frightening and macabre happenings. Many of the dreams take root from a movie or an event that your child has just experienced. Again, they have a very sensitive nervous system and huge imagination. These are the kids which wake up and ask 20 times, oh, can I have a glass of water? Can I have a drink? I need that, I need that. And the whole scenario is based on that the adult should just come back to their room, right? Because they're so afraid, and then they finally fall asleep because out of exhaustion, or they're running out of excuses. So if phosphorus children have an acute respiratory ailment, which they're very prone to it, they often get coughs or bronchitis, even pneumonia, or even digestive complaints. They may be moan in their sleep, but as the remedy called Koch, which I just mentioned before, they wake up quite refreshed in the morning. They may be quite hungry, actually. That's very phosphoric. So if you have this child, nervous system, high imagination, and fear of being alone, think about phosphorus. Also, they grow quite fast as children. They're tall children, very beautiful looking, but they grow quite fast. The next remedy is called STRAMONIUM 30. It is a must remedy when you have the night terror, which I just explained to you, where the child is fully asleep but acts as if he or she is awake, right? Wide, starry eyes, facing the parents, cannot connect, doesn't recognize the parent, screaming, being violent, thrashing around. Very, very big remedy here. Stramonium 30, 1 tablet weekly, maybe for 3 to 4 weeks only. If it's really strong, I would even say Stramonium 200, 1 tablet only. That usually kills it. I've seen it many times. As I said, these children cannot remember what really happened the night before, but they act out the nightmare as if it's real, right? They're in it. And, there's a whole different degree between the night terror and the nightmare. Our last remedy is called PULSATILLA 30. With this remedy, the core essence is that they are afraid to be abandoned or to lose the love of their parents. It might not be true, of course, but that's what they're coming, from. And their nightmares are an expression of that. So again, you see that in babies too. Here they want to be rocked too, but gentle. Not like cob, like bobbing about. And now they want to be gently rocked in order to fall asleep. So every time the infant awakens, it cries. And the mother must rock, bounce, caress, or even nurse the baby back to sleep. Now finally, when the baby falls asleep, mother puts the child down, the crying starts all over again. The mother often has to sleep with the baby, even when the baby or the child is 7, 8, 9 years old. Older children may have difficulty falling asleep for several reasons, but mainly it's about worries what's going to happen the next day. Let's say they have a test. Then they worry, will I do well? Or would my parents think less of me if I would fail? Right? So some children stay awake because they have thoughts about grief or fear of losing the love of their parents. It's a big deal for them. You see, that's why we cannot sort of generalize and just give a vitamin or a mineral for, let's just calm them down. Now, we have to find out what's really going on with our children. What's really the story which sort of triggers their sleepless nights or their nightmares. So when they finally do fall asleep, their dreams may be full of the same topics that kept them awake as well. So likewise, when a parent then announces bedtime and time to be tucked in, the child often resists because sleep separates him or her from the parent. They have the fear of separation. That's the core essence which triggers them, to have these nightmares. So it's very important to find out in general what is the individual, trigger here for your child to experience these bad hours during the night. Right? Nightmares is sort of a general overall term, but the idea is to find out what is actually causing your child to be afraid. So such children too pretend to have, this kind of pleas of, I need a glass of water, I need to pee, or, I need another bedtime story. Imagine the scenario that the parents have done their bit now, and after now they fall exhaustedly, onto the living room couch and to say, oh God, finally it's done. Only to hear, what are you doing? Can you come here? Can I come out? Right? They do anything just to bring the parents back into the room so they can be relieved from this feeling of fear of separation. And again, they fall asleep usually out of exhaustion. When the child becomes old enough and to walk, waking up and finding their way to the parents' bed is very common. They have fear of the dark and fear of being alone. They may need to sleep with the light on because they're afraid of the dark, monsters, moving shadows in trees like phosphorus on the walls and the like, any of that. These children, what really stands out with them, they weep and they cry a lot. You know, they talk during their sleep or even drool in the sleep, right? The saliva comes out of their mouth. They have nightmares if there's stress in the family, such as, again, possible divorce or anything else that threatens their sense of security. They're very delicate children, shy often. The fear of separation often makes its way into the sleep state with dreams such as even the mother getting into an accident or dying. They are terribly afraid that their parents are going to die. They wake up terrified by these dreams and run to their parents' room for consolation. So if you give these remedies, you can not only provide a restful sleep, but you literally wipe out this instilled belief system, which of course is based not on reality, but it seemingly seems to them their reality. That's what homeopathy can do here, you know. So I'm not advocating it. I know it. I've seen it for so many years, particularly in children. It's a God-sent tool. With pulsatilla, they maybe also have dreams of black cats or sort of dark shapes coming up. So listen to that. There are, of course, many more remedies on offer. But as you know me by now with my videos, I like to keep it simple and educate you with natural therapeutic tools. So you in time can find your own confidence in helping your children during these challenging situations. So for your parents out there, if you start implementing these therapeutic tools into your child's daily rhythm and schedule, I'm confident that your child will overcome his or her scary nightmares. If you need some help, you can contact me at health@medicanova.net. Till next time, much love. Take care.